They come from all across the world, from many different lands. The brave from Britain, the confident from America, the determined from Japan, and anyone else, anywhere else, who wants to step up to the challenge. 100 challengers compete across a 4-stage obstacle course devised by the devil. Success means glory. Failure means humiliation. It truly is win or die. Many have tried. Very few have succeeded. But they all have one goal: to become the next champion. This is Ninja Warrior of Halo! Right, now that I've killed Swan and buried him in the ocean, hello guys, it is your peace-loving Hunter Unit 751, and welcome back to Ninja Warrior of Halo. The 100 challengers have made their attempts on Stage 1 here in Tournament 21. And overall, we saw plenty of impressive performances, with many competitors setting personal bests, and in the end, we had an incredible 16 competitors successfully reach Stage 1's finish line. That is the second highest in the course's history, behind the 22 clears which we saw in Tournament 16. So DHG Fireball came home with the fastest time, and in doing so, he became only the second competitor in the course's history after USS Defiant 1 to get the fastest time on Stage 1 in back-to-back tournaments. Also moving on is Strafe Helix, Halo Ninja Warrior host Smokey Massacre, who cleared Stage 1 for the 11th time in his career, and another host, Spartan Sasuke host Rog, will be taking on Stage 2 for his first time. We also have the other all-star Elite MKB, who also cleared Stage 1 for the 11th time in his career. The veteran Alpha Puma, who came within one jump of the final stage in the last tournament. Weapon Matt will be taking on Stage 2 for the first time since Tournament 18. And Killer the Man will be stepping up for his first time since Tournament 16. Now, these 16 survivors must do battle with the second stage. Not much has changed on Stage 2 in terms of the obstacles, but there have been a couple of modifications to the downhill jump and the stick slider to keep our competitors on their toes. Also, a 5-second time deduction means our competitors will have just 65 seconds to complete Stage 2. Let's head down to the sidelines to hear from some of our competitors.
Yeah, it feels pretty good getting to Stage 2 for my first time after competing for 3 years. As for the second stage itself, I'd say I'm most worried about that fourth obstacle, the swing ladder. I've been failing it a lot in practice. Of course, the same ladder could give me some trouble, but other than that, I'm feeling pretty confident about this stage.
Hard to describe it, really. Beating Stage 1 is the fastest my heart has ever beaten. I think I almost had a heart attack when I did it. But being here is nice. In all honesty, I don't really care where I fail. If I pass, that'd be spectacular, that'd be spot on. But I think just getting back to Stage 2, I've reached my main goal for this tournament. Everything else is just a bonus.
I definitely have a chance to redeem myself on the stick slider, and I'm just hoping to do better really and make it Stage 3.
It feels pretty good, especially if this is my last tournament, at least go out on something past Stage 1. I'm pretty comfortable with the first half because I've attempted and cleared all 3 of those obstacles before, but then second half, especially things like the swing ladder and vehicle ramps with stuff I'm not as comfortable with, I'm a little worried, but you never know.
It definitely feels nice. Beating Stage 1 felt amazing. It always feels good to beat Stage 1. Getting to Stage 2. Feeling a little nervous on it. Failing it in the last tournament definitely shook me up a little bit. I do feel like I can beat this stage.
I was kind of worried that I wouldn't make it here because I haven't got as much practice as I wanted, but yeah, I guess I didn't really need to worry that much. If I made it back to Stage 3, I would feel amazing, because I really don't think I will, and I like to surprise myself.
It feels good, and now I'm gonna go and tie the record for whoever failed the Samonite the most. It's gonna be great.
Well, mostly relieved I just got past Stage 1, but Yeah, stage 2, there's definitely a couple tricky spots, like the first obstacle and then the that bridge. Yeah, they're definitely tough, so I'm going to have to have my A game and see if I can get through it. Yeah, I certainly like to think I can get back to stage 3. I mean, I did it last time, so it's certainly plausible that I can get back there, but yeah, I still gotta be stage 2.
Yeah, it's crazy to be back on stage 2 for my 11th time. I'm not gonna lie, I'm really nervous. I feel like I've been more nervous this tournament than in the past. I don't know what it is. Like, ever since that tournament 19 failure, I feel like I have to prove myself even more. I know I've done pretty good in the past, so I want to show that I can keep doing that as far as these tournaments will go. So hopefully I can put on a good stage 2 performance here, but I'm definitely very nervous about this stage.
The final stage tower of Mount Midoriyama. So far, no one has been able to do battle with it on the Xbox One. But with a sweet 16 still standing to take on stage 2, is this our best opportunity to see one of these competitors make it to the final stage for the first time on Halo 5? How many of them will have what it takes to reach stage 3 and beyond? In the last tournament, only 5 competitors made it past this stage. Test of speed, skill, and precision. You have to be prepared for this stage, or it will take you down when you least expect it. Our first of 16 competitors is ready to go, and he is the first of 6 challengers that will be taking on stage 2 for their first time in this tournament. First time in his career he's made it to the second stage. Can he get us off to a good start? It is Rog, RPG445, the host of Spartan Sasuke. Rog is going to have 65 seconds to complete all 6 obstacles, starting with the downhill jump. It's been modified, the head slide is a little bit higher now, which means you have to jump earlier, and it is no trouble for Rog as he heads onto the iconic salmon ladder. He's sticking to the left-hand side here, and he's got a pretty good technique. Look at that! Very impressive from Rog. Now for the stick slider, this has also been modified to make it a little bit easier, and it's no trouble for him. Now for the swing ladder, this is the obstacle he was worried about as he shoots the swing ladder. The ladder's not really swinging or moving at all for Rog. He's had to go back one rung. That's cost him a little bit of time, but he keeps his composure. Now for the metal spin, can he get this? Just about, yes! And he's on to the vehicle rounds with 18 seconds left on the clock. He's been flying through this stage. Oh my goodness! He almost lost it there. But he's making his way through the quacks and sounds, but Rog is going to make it, and make it with 5.5 seconds left on the clock. Rog, first man up on stage 2, gets us off to a winning start. He's going to be taking on stage 3 as well. There's Strafe celebrating with him. He's going to be taking on stage 2 later. And he is very happy to see Rog make it through. Rog, I mean, I could barely catch a breath on some of these obstacles, how quickly Rog was flying through them. The SAM ladder was no trouble for him. This swing ladder he did have a bit of problems with. For some reason, it just couldn't get swinging. But he didn't let it phase him, and he managed to pull through. Make it to the end.
Should be enough.
Oh!
Alright, that's enough. Stage 3, boys!
You can tell Rog is very happy with that performance, and why shouldn't he be? His first time taking on stage 2 in this tournament, and he's beaten it! What a fantastic breakout tournament this is proving to be for the Spartan Sasuke host. Rog gets us off to the perfect start, 1 for 1, and he's going to be taking on stage 3. That was the perfect start we were looking for from Rog. Now let's see if our first returning competitor to stage 2 can match that. Next up we have Killer the Man. This is Killer's 3rd time taking on the second stage, but it's the first time he's made it this far since Tournament 16. That was the final tournament on the Xbox 360, and also was the final tournament with the previous incarnation of Stage 2, before Smokey Massacre's total victory ushered in the current era of Stage 2. Killer performed very well, making it to the final obstacle, the vehicle ramps, but a tragic, unfortunate incident meant that he was left dangling on the finish line platform as the clock ran out. With the finish line in his sights, he just couldn't pull himself up, and in doing so, he missed out on becoming the first ever competitor to make it to stage 3 on his first 2 appearances. Actually, he's still the closest competitor in Ninja Warrior of Halo's entire history to make it to stage 3 on their first 2 appearances. No one has gotten closer than Killer, and I'm sure he's very happy to see that the vehicle ramps are still in stage 2 after they were brought back in the last tournament. Let's see if Killer can get to them. Let's see how Killer will fare on his first time taking on any stage 2 on a major course on Halo 5. As he makes it through the downhill jump nicely and onto the salmon ladder. We saw Rog fly up this. Killer is taking a little bit more of a cautious approach, but making his way up. Oh, he slips down off the third one, but he saves it. No, he's losing it. Killer, no! Killer! Oh, his comeback run comes to an end on the salmon ladder. Oh, it is a shame. It's such a tough obstacle. Although it has only taken out 1 person in the last 2 tournaments, it is still a brutal obstacle. And it took down Killer. But now we can move on to our next competitor. Taking on stage 2 for his first time is I Stay Suave. This guy's history on this course goes back a long way. Suave made his debut all the way back in Tournament 10 under the gamer tag Pure Butt Crust and competed alongside his best friend Drago is Sick. And his debut went very well as he made it deep into stage 1, but too many failed attempts at the warped wall meant that he ran out of time on the final obstacle, and in doing so, he missed out on becoming the first ever competitor to clear stage 1 on Halo 4. His second appearance came in Tournament 12, now under the gamer tag Your Old Jailmate, but his warped wall struggles still continued. This time he couldn't even clear the obstacle as he ran out of time. We didn't see Suave again until the last tournament, when he returned for the landmark 20th tournament as a last-minute backup to Drago and Ree. But he made it look like he'd never been away. Despite all the changes that had been made to the course, Suave still showed just how skilled a competitor he was, as he made it deep into stage 1 once again before going out on the flying chute. Today, on his 4th appearance, he finally managed to bring it all together, to not only make it to stage 1's finish line, but to get there on time. Now, 11 tournaments after he made his debut, he's going to be taking on stage 2 at long last. Let's see how Suave will fare. There's not been many competitors that have had to wait as long as this guy has to finally get a crack at stage 2, even though he has obviously not competed in a lot of these tournaments. But let's see how far he can get. 65 seconds, and he's off on the downhill jump as he jumps too late. Suave, no! No, you cannot go out like that. Suave, it's been so long. It's been such a long wait for this guy to finally get to stage 2, and his run is over already? I cannot believe it! He jumped too late. I said the head slide had been made a little bit higher to keep our competitors on their toes, and it's caught out. Suave. The crowd watching on is gutted for Suave, and it just goes to show any obstacle can take you out. Even the first one can get you when you least expect it. It's always sad to see a competitor go out like that, but it also adds a little bit of pressure for the competitors to follow to try to not make the same mistake. Can this guy make sure he does not repeat what Suave just did? It is another competitor taking on stage 2 for their first time, Purple Dyno 103. This is only his second appearance on the course. He made his first appearance in Tournament 19 with the gamer tag GRD Stegosaurus, going out on the half-pipe attack as you saw there. Now on his second appearance, he gets his first crack at stage 2. He just about gets into the head slide. Just about jumped at the right time there. He's heading onto the salmon ladder. He is very worried about this obstacle. Killer went down on it, but he's doing very well. The minute he's up to the fourth one, he drops down and he loses it in an instant. And that shows the brutality of the salmon ladder. He was looking really good on it, and then in just a split second, he was dropping into the water. That now brings us on to Strafe Helix. This is his second time on Stage 2, and the second tournament in a row he's made it to Stage 2. He went down on the stick slider in the last tournament. He's eyeing it up for revenge today. A little bit laggy, but through the downhill jump and onto the salmon ladder. Taking out 2 competitors already. Strafe wants to make sure he's not the third. Ignore that glow. Ooh, a slip there. But Strafe is fine. He's not being put off by that weird glow in the background. Ignore that tree. And now he's onto the stick slider. This is where he failed in the last tournament. Can he beat it? Yes, he can. A personal best for Strafe. Now for the swing ladder. The swing ladder's not moving for Strafe either. It didn't move for Rog. And now it's not moving with Strafe. I think this swing ladder could do with a grease job or something. It's cost him a bit of time, 20 seconds as he goes for the metal spin, goes for the right-hand side and gets across it very nicely. The vehicle ramps, he's got less time than Rog has. He can't afford any slip-ups here, but he's got a solid technique, consistent, smooth, and Strafe is going to be heading on to Stage 3. He joins Rog in making it to the third stage for his first time. And the crowd is very happy. I can see Fireball and Ump in there. I think Sir Noodalicious is in there as well. These guys are all going to be taking on Stage 2 later. And seeing a competitor like Strafe pull through will surely give them confidence. Strafe had a little slip up on the salmon ladder, but he recovered nicely on it. As this spectator in the tree was watching on. He got his revenge on the stick slider, got his crouch just right. And despite another obscure issue with the swing ladder, he didn't let it affect him, and Strafe managed to pull through nicely. It's the mystery man in the tree. Who is it? Who was it who shot him? Oh, it's Chris. Of course it was Chris. Bloody Chris. But yeah, let's talk about Strafe. He's moving on to Stage 3, and he's the first Brit to get to Stage 3 since Tournament 16. The next man stepping up to Stage 2 has been waiting longer than almost anyone, and has most definitely gotten closer than almost anyone else to getting to Stage 2 on Halo 5. Bananarama has failed the last obstacle in both of the last 2 tournaments, but finally pulled through today. Here's hoping he can have a good Stage 2 run, and it starts off well enough on the downhill jump. Time for the salmon ladder. One of the big things he's going to have to be careful with here is speed. We've seen how it affects him in previous efforts. Oh, he saved it. I thought he was out there. What an incredible save and recovery. As he's going for the last rung, he's struggling with this one as well. He's trying to save jump. He's trying to force his way up and he can't get it. He's now got it, but look at that time. That's cost him so much time. 65 seconds on the clock it disappears so quickly. Within about 65 seconds to be exact. As he's going for the swing ladder, it is moving for him and he's going to have to start taking some risks here as he picks up the pace. Look at the clock, 16 seconds as he goes for the metal spin. Oh, and he just made that as well. 10 seconds. If he pulls this off, it's the best clutch job I've ever seen in my life. He's over the first ramp. He's over the second ramp. He goes for the third ramp. Oh my goodness. Oh my God. He made it with just 0.2 of a second left on the clock. Bananarama pulled through. How did he do that? He looked dead and buried after the salmon ladder. He had barely 30 seconds left on the clock to complete the last 4 obstacles. And he survived not 1 but 2 slip-ups on the salmon ladder. The second slip-up, maybe not so much a slip-up, but it just cost him so much time trying to get up that last rung. And when he finally did do it, he had to rush. Thank goodness the swing ladder worked for him. If he had the same trouble that Strafe and Rog had, he would not have had the time to clear. And then on the vehicle ramps, he landed on the third ramp and he went for it. He knew he had to go for it, and he pulled through. And Bananarama is going to be taking on the third stage in this tournament. That is absolutely incredible, wonderful, exceptional. Wow. Now that run is over, let's see if we can catch our breath and have a little bit less of a stressful run with this guy. It is Zeke and Yuki, the Japanese competitor, taking on this course. Well, taking on stage 2 for his first time. This is also his second appearance. And getting the opportunity to see this guy on stage 2 also actually gave me an opportunity to learn a little bit about the Japanese community, or the Japanese gaming community. On Halo 5, and let me tell you, they are into some weird stuff on Halo 5. I'm not going to say I'm scarred, but memorable is definitely the word I would use. So it's a slip up there by Yuki, but he recovers just like Strafe and Banana did, and he gets straight into the head slide on the stick slider. Makes it through nicely. No one's had any trouble with it so far. Onto the swing ladder, going right onto it. Okay, the swing ladder seems to be getting back in control a little bit now after the earlier problems we had. 2 competitors in a row get across it nicely. Metal spin time. This was the obstacle he was worried about, but he gets through it, and he's got 16 seconds for the vehicle ramps. Way more time than Bananarama did, but he can't afford to get out of control here. He's got a nice smooth technique, and the Japanese man, the Jap, is moving on to stage 3 as well. That's another competitor through stage 2. Zeke and Yuki pulls through, and he is very happy with that performance. Only his second appearance. Went down on the half-pipe attack in the last tournament. Now going to be taking on stage 3, and we are seeing an impressive uptake in form by our competitors. 3 fails in a row have now led to 3 clears in a row. And now, with several competitors getting through in a row, the question is, how long can we keep this clear streak going for? Can our next man pull through to make it 4 clears in a row? This guy has been to the second stage in the past, but not for a little while. This is Weapon Matt. Last time he was on stage 2 was in Tournament 18, the first Halo 5 tournament, when he managed to defeat this stage. There's Irish and Atlantic watching on. They both went out on stage 1, but they are here rooting for Weapon Matt, hoping he can pull through. 65 seconds as Matt continues what he said might be his final appearance on this course. Let's see if he can carry it on into the 3rd stage at the very least. Ooh, a little slip up at the start of the SAM ladder, but it doesn't affect him, and he's spring jumping his way up. He did this in Tournament 18, and he makes it work again. Time for the stick slider. He gets that as well. Now he's into uncharted territory with the swing ladder. Ooh, the ladder's not moving for him, and Matt misses it! Matt is out on the swing ladder, and his impressive comeback tournament comes to an end. After 2 stage 1 fails in a row, he got back to stage 2 today, but he cannot make it back to the 3rd stage. And he is out on the swing ladder, and that could signal the end of Matt's final run on this course.
Not good, not getting back to the 3rd stage, but I failed 5 different obstacles, didn't break the streak, so if I do come back, power's mine.
Matt, he's not ruling out a return to the course, no question about it, and he is clearly hungry to try that final stage. But if this is the end of the road for Matt, he has been a great competitor over these last 5 tournaments and represented the new generation very proudly. So, from one of the new generation to a competitor and a veteran that has definitely been round the block, not just on this course, but in Halo jumping in general. He's back on stage 2 today, and he is eyeing up one obstacle in particular. Making his 8th appearance on the course is Gotenks. This is Gotenks' 5th time making it to stage 2, and in his 4 previous attempts on this course, it has definitely been very up and down for him. On his first 2 attempts at the second stage on the Xbox 360, Gotenks managed to pull through on both occasions to make it to the 3rd stage. First in Tournament 14 and the second in Tournament 16. But on his 2 appearances on the second stage since then, both on Halo 5, both occasions he has gone down on the 3rd obstacle, the stick slider. The second of those 2 failures coming in Tournament 19 when he was one of only 3 competitors to make it to the 2nd stage in that tournament. Now, after a Stage 1 fail in the last tournament, Gotenks is back on this stage again today. So, will it be 3rd time's the charm for him on the 2nd stage of Halo 5? Gotenks is ready to go.
Let's go, Daddy G.
And clearly Fireball is repping and gunning for him to succeed.
Let's go, Daddy G.
Daddy G. I've not heard Gotenks called that one before. Let's see how Daddy G fares on the 2nd stage. 65 seconds. And down the downhill jump very nicely. Onto the salmon ladder. Beaten this on both of his previous occasions attempting it, despite admitting he's a little bit fearful of this obstacle. But he has got a really quick technique going here. Gets up to the last one and is through. And now for his nemesis, the stick slider. He's taking his time to make sure he gets into it, throws himself into the head slide, and Gotenks gets it this time. He's breaking new ground. Time for the swing ladder. He lands on the middle. No, he slips off. Gotenks, another competitor, goes out on the swing ladder. He got his revenge on the stick slider. That was the obstacle he was eyeing up. But then just a few seconds later, he was in the water. No!
Slip!
Oh my god.
He's undone.
Gotenks is undone again on the 2nd stage. The ladder was moving fine for him, but if he'd just taken a safe jump, he might have been fine. Gotenks will not be making his return to the 3rd stage in this tournament. And his reward, he's getting shot to death or shot in the head by about a dozen people. Well, I mean, I say reward. Maybe it's technically a punishment for failing, but you never know. Maybe Gotenks is into that sort of kinky stuff, getting shot in the head. Anyway, our next competitor is ready to go. This is DHG Fireball. He knows the pain of going out on the stick slider. That is where he failed in the last tournament. So can he get through it this time around and avenge Gotenks, who he just watched fail stage 2? As Fireball goes for the salmon ladder. Our competitors are starting to get to grips with this obstacle a little bit more now, the veterans that have tried it in the past, and Fireball's spring jump technique works solidly for him. Now he takes his time a bit more than he did in the last tournament, and his caution pays off on the stick slider. Time for the swing ladder. The last 2 competitors have failed this, but Fireball's managed to get the ladder moving pretty nicely, uses the last one, and gets through it. Onto the metal spin. He's through that, the end is in sight, and Fireball has got plenty of time on the clock. He can afford to take his time on the vehicle ramps, but he has got a solid technique. Look at Fireball go. 15 seconds left on the clock, and we have another man through at last. And good lord, the tank man there, almost startled myself with that. Fireball is heading back to stage 3 for the first time since tournament 18. Who was that bloody fella in the tank messing around? Keep an eye on him. But Fireball, don't see this very often from Fireball, taking a bit of caution on the stick slider. It's where he failed in the last tournament, and this time he managed to pull through. Got past the swing ladder that took out Matt and Gotenks, and from there it was smooth sailing, and his technique on the vehicle ramps was absolutely solid. It meant that he came in with the fastest time comfortably so far in stage 2. And that was an excellent shot by the tank guy, actually. Not so good with that second shot. Oh, it's Snars. Of course it's Snars. Bloody not following the rules. Bloody Snars. Anyway, Fireball is going to be heading back to the 3rd stage. Awesome stuff from him. And our next competitor is the first of the competitors that managed to beat this stage in the last tournament. This is Flame Vortex 03. This is his 4th tournament in a row getting to stage 2, and he finally managed to pull through and beat this stage in the last tournament for his first time. Now he's hoping to go 2 tournaments in a row beating this stage, although he did admit he wasn't very confident. But maybe that's just the nerves. Let's see if Flame can pull through as he gets quickly onto the salmon ladder. He's failed this obstacle once before, but he's beaten it twice since then, and he gets a spring jump to get up to the top, and now into the stick slider. He's going quick. He's going too quick! Flame, no! Flame goes down on the stick slider. And the first of our stage 3 finalists from the last tournament is out on stage 2. Flame, the stick slider hasn't really caused too many problems for anybody so far in this tournament, but it claims its first victim today, and it's Flame that has taken his scalp. Fireball watching on, he just cleared. Now he's seen Flame go down. And unfortunately, things did not get better from there for our next 2 competitors. We had Elite MKB, who was on this stage for the record 11th time in his career, tying the record that was originally set by Drago. But once again, it was deja vu on the salmon ladder, as he failed it for the 3rd time, and in doing so, he became only the 3rd ever competitor to fail stage 2 5 times. Then at the complete opposite end of the spectrum, Sir Noodalicious was taking on stage 2 for his first time, but sadly our Tournament 21 lottery winner found he was no match for the salmon ladder as well. The crowd watching on is clearly gutted. Sakeshi drops his head in sadness at watching Noodalicious crash out on stage 2. So stage 2 starting to bite back a little bit, but we still have 3 incredible competitors left to run. First of them is raring to go. Stepping up to stage 2 once again is the godfather of Halo jumping, Double Ump. This tournament so far has all been about the number 5 for He became only the 5th competitor to reach 15 appearances on this course today, and by beating stage 1 in this tournament, he also became only the 5th competitor to clear stage 1 10 times. The first of those successes came all the way back in tournament 6, and overall, his record on this stage is pretty good. In 9 previous attempts, he's cleared this stage 7 times, including in the last tournament when he got back to stage 3 before going out on the Devil Steps. Now, is raring to go once again, and hoping to continue his impressive record on this stage. In the last tournament, that was actually his first time taking on stage 2 on Halo 5, and he managed to pull through. So let's see if he can do it again now. His 10th time taking on stage 2, as he throws himself into the downhill jump, launched himself into that head slide and made it work. Now onto the salmon ladder. This was one of 2 obstacles he was eyeing up. He's going for a spring jump technique. A little bit slower than a few other competitors, but he's... Oh, no, he slips a little bit. He's save jumping to try and save himself, but he's pushing him away! No! Goes down on the salmon ladder as well. Oh, no! Is beaten on the 2nd stage. This salmon ladder is really starting to eat up our competitors. And he was going for a spring jump technique, and it was initially working very nicely. But when he went up to the 4th one, he hit his head, and in trying to save himself, he kept spring jumping, but it just pushed him away, and there was no way of saving himself at the bottom. And he was taking on stage 2 for the 10th time, only the 5th person to make it to 15 appearances, the 5th person to reach stage 2 10 times. Now, he's the 5th person to fail the salmon ladder in this tournament. And stage 2 is really biting back. He cannot make its mind up. We had 4 clears from the first 7 runs. In the 7 attempts since then, we've only seen 1 more clear, and that was Fireball. And now it leaves us in a precarious position going into our final two competitors. Just 5 men through so far. Can our last two pull through? This is Alpha Puma. His 5th time on stage 2. The 4th tournament in a row he's made it to this stage. Alongside Flame, he's the only other person that's beat stage 1 in every Halo 5 tournament. And he's through the downhill jump. That's the only obstacle that he's ever failed on stage 2. But what about this salmon ladder? He knows how to do this obstacle. He has his techniques. But he saw what happened to But Puma's not going to make the same mistakes. Into the stick slider. We just saw this take out Flame. He ejects early, and he makes it work. Onto the swing ladder. Puma's got the ladder moving nicely. He's made his... And that was actually really, really impressive. Very quick. Now for the metal spin. Lands that as well. And Puma has got 25 seconds. Plenty of time in hand. As he goes for the vehicle rams. Oh, he almost pulled what Rog did. And I say he almost pulled what Rog did. He almost did exactly what he did in the last tournament. His technique isn't the smoothest on the vehicle ramps. And he's really used up that spare time he had. But he has done it as he stares at the button for a second or so. Now Puma has done it. 4.7 seconds left on the clock. And there's Rog, who he had a close shave on the vehicle ramps as well. And Puma almost tried to one-up him there. But Puma... he got his techniques down pretty much on every single obstacle. The salmon ladder took out 3 competitors in a row just now, but Puma broke that streak. He had a really good run on the swing ladder. His only mistake came here. It was almost a carbon copy of what he did in the last tournament, actually. He almost screwed up the first vehicle ramp, or the jump to the second ramp in the last tournament. But he recovered, he didn't lose his cool, and Puma took a little second to stare at the landmine before hitting it and secure his 3rd tournament in a row on stage 3. Puma's success gets us back on track and ends the losing streak of 4 fails in a row on this stage. And that now leaves us with just 1 competitor left to run. Last to take on stage 2 is Smokey Massacre. Smokey is an all-star on this course and an all-time legend in Halo jumping as the host of his own major jump course, Halo Ninja Warrior.
And then his fellow Avenger, Captain 1 Marvel, or Captain 1 America. Oops. Fell the ring bear. I just realized there's a Captain Marvel and a Captain America. How many captains in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Anyway, this is Mighty Max 80 up next.
Whilst being an incredible host of his own course, Smokey has also undoubtedly proven himself to be one of the all-time greats as a competitor on this course. He is the reigning champion of Ninja Warrior of Halo, managing to defeat all 4 stages in Tournament 16 to successfully become only the 2nd ever competitor to scale the final stage tower within the time limit. But Smokey's success has not stopped there, and since then he has continued to prove why he is the top dog on this course. He made it back to stage 3 in the last tournament, the first time he'd done that on Halo 5, and he came within 1 jump of completing stage 3 and making it to the final stage for a record 3rd time. By being the last competitor to go in this tournament, he was also the 1500th ever attempt in Ninja Warrior of Halo's history. Also, by being number 100, he overtook Re95 to get the record for wearing the number 100 on the most occasions. By beating Stage 1 in this tournament, he tied the all-time Stage 1 clear record, now shared between himself, Elite MKB, and Drago is Sick, on 11 clears apiece. And in 10 previous attempts on Stage 2, Smokey has managed to clear this stage 8 times. So let's see if Smokey can put on another performance worthy of a grand champion and make it back to the 3rd stage for the 9th time. Smokey. I mean, it's almost crazy to think. If he keeps going at this pace, there isn't a single record, or, well, a single positive record that Smokey cannot break. His 11th time on Stage 2, tying the all-time clear record. And he's looking for clear number 9 on this stage. Let's see if he can do it. As he goes down the downhill jump and through. Onto the salmon ladder. This is the obstacle. One of his 2 failures on stage 2 came on this obstacle in tournament 18. But he cruised up it in the last tournament and he cruises to the top of it once again. The stick slider, he's never had any problems with this and continues that. Onto the swing ladder. This obstacle has been all over the place for our competitors and Smokey's having trouble with it. It's not moving, but Smokey goes for it anyway. Oh, he only just gets it. But gets it he does. And across the metal spin, 25 seconds for the vehicle ramps. This is how much time Puma had and he took his time. Smokey is not going full pelt, but he's still got a really smooth technique. He won't beat Fireball's time, but he will come in with 12.9 seconds left on the clock. A very impressive time from Smokey. Although a very rare occasion where Smokey does not get the fastest time on stage 2. But I doubt he cares one jot about that. He'll let Fireball have that one. Smokey once again put on a clinic on how to beat stage 2. Although, once again, this swing ladder kind of defined stage 2. You had competitors that had no trouble with the swing ladder, and others like Smokey who struggled with it. But he didn't panic, and he pulled through to make it to the finish line once again.
Yeah, you're fine. Legend. Absolute legend.
Smokey, with Killer the Man watching on. Killer couldn't pull through, but he is very happy for Smokey to see. He's going to see Smokey take on the 3rd stage for the 9th time in his career as he looks to secure a 3rd trip to the final.
I'm coming for you!
And after all the twists and turns we've seen on this 2nd stage, we are now left with 7 competitors still standing for stage 3. Despite an impressive 16 competitors reaching stage 2, there could be a case made either way as to whether this stage has been a success or a failure. Of the 16 survivors, 9 of them have been eliminated by this stage, with fails ranging from the very first obstacle to 2 wiping out on the somewhat controversial swing ladder. After just 1 failure in the last 2 tournaments, the salmon ladder really showed us what it's made of today, as it managed to wipe out 5 of the 15 competitors that attempted this obstacle. But despite all of this, we do have 7 competitors moving on to the 3rd stage. And once again, we have an incredible amount of variety that will be moving on to the next round. The 7 survivors are DHG Fireball, who got the fastest time again following his stage 1 speed run. The Grand Champion Smokey Massacre. Spartan Sasuke host Rog will be taking on stage 3 for his first time. And Alpha Puma will be taking on the 3rd stage for the 3rd tournament in a row. The 3 other survivors will also be taking on the 3rd stage for their very first time. The Japanese competitor Zeke and Yuki, Strafe Helix, who got his revenge on the stick slider, and Bananarama, who just made it to the finish line in time. And next time we will see these 7 competitors wrap up Tournament 21 as they do battle with the 3rd stage. This is surely our best opportunity to see someone make it to the final stage for the first time on Halo 5. The question is, do one of these challengers have what it takes to hold their nerve and produce a record-breaking run? You'll have to join us next time, guys, to find out. But until then, like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope you have enjoyed this video. We'll see you guys again next time for the finale to Tournament 21. Until then, guys, I've been Hunter Unit 751. We'll see you guys next time.